Welcome back to the channel. On this video, let's discuss about planning. Planning exists in three levels: strategic, tactical, and operational. Let's see what's the difference between the three. Sylvain Gauthier, the executive producer, and on this video, let's talk about planning. Like I said, planning is at different level as we progress with the project. As we start in the early life cycle, we are in the initiation phase. We have to think about certain things, right? And we need to make sure that we put the right conditions so we could be successful with this project. So the first step of planning will be a strategic planning. We'll be looking at the overall project. What are we trying to do with this investment? Keep in mind, a project is an investment. We're investing resource, okay? Even though you might not have that feeling, say, I'm working project in my own company, and therefore we're not investing. Well, you are investing because you are putting resource. As soon you're putting resource, even though they are from your own organization, you're not going to the bank, it's still an investment, and it's an investment of people that get paid. They do some things and they're not doing something else while they do that. So what are we trying to do with that investment? What problem are we trying to solve, or opportunity we're trying to address? What are the benefits we're looking at in order for us to, let's say, recover out of this? It's not always financial benefit. We've seen that in another video. Sometimes there might be, let's say, intangible benefits, such as the brand image. It could be fixing certain problems that we have in terms of services, improving certain metrics that we have in terms of satisfaction, etc. So there's a lot of other benefits that we're willing to invest resources to get to. That usually will happen, before, where we have put a business case, something to justify the investment. And now it's time to say, okay, we got the green light from our management committee, whatever is deciding, the organization, whoever is your governance to decide, go, let's do it. And it's time to initiate, and it's time to come up with the charter. And the charter is really the strategic portion of your planning. It's really where you reflect on, this is what we're going to try to get at the end of this project. This is what we're shooting for. So, of course, the charter will include your constraint that you're dealing with in terms of time and cost and quality, because, yes, that investment needs to happen to a certain level of money at a certain time, because you can't drag this thing forever, and a certain level of performance. So all of this fits within the charter, but also who might be the stakeholders that we know at this stage, and other information like, for example, the business risks that might come with this investment. So those are the kind of thing we will put in the charter. Very strategic, related to the investment. So someone reading that have an idea of this project in this business is bringing that, is addressing these problems or addressing these opportunity, and this is the kind of return and when we should expect that. So, of course, the KPI, the key performance indicator of this one, will be based on the life cycle, depending of where we are in the life cycle of the product or even the project. Where are we versus these benefits we're trying to get, and also the investment we're putting into it. So this is what we're going to be monitoring. So that will be the strategic part. Going into planning after initiation, of course, we're going to start putting up the project management plan. And the project management plan means we're going to have to go and figuring out all our stakeholders, engaging the discussion with them, collecting their requirements. So we have an idea in terms of what do we need to meet in order to get acceptance from them and fulfill the need of this project, because the stakeholder will have needs and we will have to transfer these needs into a requirement. So once we understand that, of course, we will have criteria such in acceptance. That's the tactical part, okay? The tactical part is to understand that and then develop a plan that will satisfy these requirements, that meets the needs of the stakeholder. Usually it's a top-down approach. It's where the project manager will bring few people that knows about the project, because we don't have yet the commitment from the organization in terms of resource. So we need to plan based on our best knowledge, looking at the past archive, collecting information, certain benchmark in terms of estimate, and we come up with what we call a top-down plan, which is generated by the project manager, maybe with some help of the PMO or other people that have expertise, but not necessarily they'll be part of the project later on, okay? We're going to put in place also some control measurement. We're going to decide, do I put earned value? And of course, if not, then how are we going to control the budget? So we'll talk about more criteria, how I'm going to get the acceptance, that will be at this level, okay? Coming down to the operational level, now this time we're going for the bottom up, okay? And what do we mean by the bottom up? Now it's time to bring the resource that's going to do the work. And the plan that we have established, let's make sure that they review it and they agree to our estimate, our assumptions that we made to make this plan. We might decide we're giving you 2 weeks to do this task and, $10,000. But then the person going in that's going to do the task, whoa, it doesn't take 2 weeks, it's going to take 4 weeks. And 10,000 is not going to do it because we're going to need this and this and this. So again, there will be a pass where the resource are confirming, the actual estimate and the assumptions, and we're coming up with a detailed plan because we might be missing certain things when we did the top down. The resource, they might be complemented, they might be breaking down certain tasks that we've gave them, because we might say we're giving you 2 weeks to write this spec, but the person will say, well, actually, it's going to be 2 days for a true draft, and they will break it down, and then I'll have it review, and then I'll have a second draft, and that fit in within the 2 weeks. So the detailed plan will actually be put together, and that's the operational level where now we're having the actual resource. Also, we're getting into getting the commitment from the people, getting the accountability from them if they work the operational. And of course, now we're going to get into the metrics that we want to use in line, for example, with the requirements. We will put the quality metrics that allow us to understand in terms of quality control, yes, I will pass the requirements, or quality assurance, because maybe some requirements are based on, let's say, subjective criteria, like, for example, I like this, I don't like it. So, for example, it's a design, an interior design. Do I like it? Do I don't like it? So it's not always something you can measure and weight. So we're going to decide what metrics we're going to be using that. Of course, timing, cost, cash, any issues. This is going to be the focus at the operational level with the detailed plan, okay? So one thing is we try to avoid is to stay at the tactical level and not go down to the operational. Basically, the project manager do the plan, say, here's the plan, passing out to people, this is what you have to meet. Usually you don't get buy-in when you do that. And if you're gonna do the bottom up, chances are that plan's gonna be wrong right from the start, okay? So again, it's unless you really, really understand all the steps and, it's not gonna be changed and it's just a copy and paste from past project. If it's a project that have some new requirements, different stakeholders, different resource, you need to do the bottom up, okay? It's very rare you can get away with tactical type of planning. You got to go to operational. Yeah, it slows the game down, makes the process longer because now you need to negotiate with the resource, understand their view, understand their assumptions, and how do they come up to their estimate. Maybe they have a better way than you, and you cannot ignore reality. That's the point that you have there, right? If your resource say that's not going to take 2 weeks, it's going to take 4 weeks, and here's the reason, and they got better information than you, they got backup, they got fact, and you just have like a target, well, then you could ignore it, but the reality is going to catch up on you, okay? And then after that, blaming people, they're not meeting the dates. You were the problem, not them, okay? So let's make sure you do your operational, you go down and get the support from the people.